Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Celia from Celia Self Reflects. Let's get into today's story. So just as a quick disclaimer, these are just stories of my experiences. I'm not an expert, or I don't have expertise in these areas aside from my own life. I'm the only one living it. I can say I'm an expert in that. But these are just the things that I've learned, and I'm just sharing them with you in case you get anything out of them yourself. So please don't forget, if you like these stories, please like and subscribe to this video. It makes a huge difference to me, and it means that I can keep these going for you. So today I wanted to share with you a story where I was at work. I was actually in the middle of treating a client. The client was a mum and her young daughter who would have been about 2 or 3. They came on in and it was really obvious straight away that the little girl was like not having a good day. She was grumpy and she was, like throwing things, and it was hilarious. I continued to with the consultation with the mum, and the little girl's behaviour slowly got worse. So it went from throwing things all over the room in complete chaos to she started specifically throwing things at both her mum and I. And I stopped the little girl and I said to her, honey, like, it's actually not appropriate to be throwing things at your mummy and I. Like, you need to stop, okay, because you could hurt someone. Or something along the lines. This was a while ago, so I'm paraphrasing, but this was the gist. I then picked her up and I walked over and I popped her in the corner very calmly, very gentle, and I was like, you just need to have a think about what you were doing, okay? And then I turned to continue the session with the mum. So as a little bit of background, I had grown up in a household where anger and fear was always very much the first response. And there's no shame or blame in regards to that. I understand now that my mum was a single mum. She was really doing the best that she could with the knowledge and the understanding that she had. But as I grew up, I started to realize that I myself was reacting in those ways as well, and I started to not want that for myself. So I actively took steps to react more calm. So that's still a work in progress. In this particular instance of dealing with this little girl, it was a significant change from where I would have reacted when I was much younger to today. So the little girl was standing in the corner. It'd only been a couple of seconds. She was getting teary, and I looked to her mum, and the mum just looked to her daughter and she called her over. As soon as she called her over, all she did was she scooped her up into her arms, sat her on her lap, and just with the most genuine love, just asked her daughter if she was okay. And I get a bit emotional when I think about it, but it was I'm sure I've seen it before, but it was the first time that I really saw a parent just reacting with love, where I had really been exposed to either reacting in anger or reacting in fear. And it was so stark, and it was the smallest thing. Anyway, so the mum continued to settle down her little girl, and I sat down and I started crying. And the mum was just like, poor mum. Anyway, she had enough on her plate. She did great. And I said to her, I'm so sorry for how I just behaved. And she was like, you were fine. Like, please don't, you were absolutely fine. But for me, internally, it was just this huge difference between reacting, even though my reaction wasn't excessive or angry, there was still that undertone of the disciplinarian, of the child needs to be controlled, of the child needs to have respect, where the mum just saw her as just a human not having a good day. And there was just this love there, and it was a real beautiful thing to see. It was like, it blew my mind. So I apologized and I thanked the mum like crazy, and I'm pretty sure she probably thinks I'm crazy. The next time she came back, she actually returned. I sat down and I said, look, can we just chat through what happened last time? And she was like, yeah, of course, it was fine. And I was like, okay, but what you need to know is that in that small action that you think was nothing, you changed my life. And frick, it was so cool. It was really beautiful, and I really loved not only that it happened for me, but that I really got that opportunity to thank her. Oh, settle yourself down, Celia. One moment. Okay, so this is a good moment to take a breath out and just get myself centered again. I do this all the time in life. I'm trying to do it more. Sometimes I get a bit up here And I just need to bring myself back down. Okay. To thank her for just this incredible learning opportunity, which to her she still was like, it's nothing. But that was when I really truly got that distinction of reacting with love or reacting with fear or control or anger. So now in my life, when it comes to reacting in fear versus reacting in love, I find still when I'm particularly tired or when I'm stressed, it's still my first go-to. It's still my first go-to to initially get annoyed and start micromanaging everything around me and everyone, which is not great. It's not great. But I at least now have the distinction so that if I am tired, if I am getting micromanaging, if I am trying to control people around me so that I can feel safe, I have the awareness to ask myself, ooh, what's going on? Like, why are you doing this? And often it's just because I'm tired, and so I'm trying to just control everything around me so that I feel safe, because that's fundamentally always been my go-to. If I can control everything around me, then I'll be safe. But what I started to learn is by letting go, by reacting in love, by actually just affording people and situations the trust that everything will just be what it is, and no matter what happens, I'm okay. It's actually so much easier. It's brought this really nice peacefulness to my life because I'm not having to constantly be on, to constantly try and manage everything in my world. Instead, I'm just a little bit more willing to roll with the punches. And the more I practice that, the more it's coming naturally. So the more those initial reactions are split seconds as opposed to hours and days. So it's really nice to be able to bring that awareness to my life and choose how I'll react and how I cope with things. So just really quickly in closing, I find often that I'm the meanest to myself. These principles are fantastic to bring through into your own life, but also bring them through into your relationship with yourself. And if we could just afford ourselves a little bit more of that respect and that love that we give to others, we're 100% worth it ourselves. And really, like, the relationship that you have with yourself is the most important one. I'm still practicing this. I really struggle with it every day. I'll talk about that in another video as well. If you've made it this far, hey, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I appreciate it with everything. I hope it helped. I hope you've learned something. Please like and subscribe if you did, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so much.